Hey guys, McMo64 here. I'm going to make this short for you. Let's get into the European matches of Week 1 League play.
So starting with this first match, Bricks versus Triple Trouble, what was your expectations for this match?
I predicted Bricks to take the series 3-1.
I think almost everybody did. They did end up losing 2-3 to Triple Trouble, but there were, some excuses for this, like Speed was in Florida on vacation for whatever reason, playing from a laptop, so that's never an ideal scenario. But so Triple Trouble beat them 3-2. Any particular thoughts about this series?
The Bricks were struggling a lot on their defense, and it was a pretty close series just because Triple Trouble was also struggling with their shot accuracy.
I think both teams were, really. Both teams were really struggling to hit the shots that they needed to.
And Bricks totally threw away the series during Game 4. They had a chance to finish it out. They were match point, and they just needed one goal, and they couldn't get it.
Yeah, unfortunate for them, but good job on Triple Trouble for actually sticking it out, winning from behind and winning from being on match point. Something interesting in this series, Cuxer was on the Dominus.
Haven't seen that in a while. He used to sport the Dominus.
Like way back in the early days. He was rocking his, patented Cuxer orange Dominus with the Demon decal, but typically we see him in the Batmobile. I saw on the subreddit somebody speculated that maybe it's because org items are coming out and you can't put skins on the Batmobile. But I feel like that would affect his game because the Batmobile and the Dominus are very different hitboxes. Any thoughts about that?
Another thing about the decal specifically is I don't know why he would want to use the Dominus because they don't have an org right now.
Yeah.
So that could be a speculation for the future. He's switching because he knows he's going to get an org in the near future. I don't know.
Possibly one that was already in RL recently?
Maybe Fnatic.
Maybe. Time will tell. Let's move on to the next match, which was TSM Mousesports. I think everybody's expectations were for TSM to win this one pretty handily, and they pretty much did that. You have any thoughts?
TSM was going strong. Ignite had a lot of cherry picks, and though it was 3-1, Mouse did put up a fight, and I was excited because I saw glimmers of a lot from the olden days of Season 5.
Yeah, the cast kept calling him Cherry Picker again.
It was great to see him get some great angles.
Yeah, definitely. It's always exciting to watch a lot pop off. I mean, he did well this weekend. He really did. But yeah, Ignite was definitely going really crazy on offense. He averages a goal per game along with Remco. The Mousesports offense, while they did make some good plays, there wasn't really enough of it for them to win this series. It looks like Mousesports scored 1.25 goals per game, whereas TSM was getting 2.25 per game. So they were definitely outscoring Mouse in every game. Do you have any particular insights?
Great start for TSM, and interesting to see how Mouse is going to finish out, as they are one of the teams to be predicted in the bottom 2.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting ride for Mousesports this season. So let's go ahead and move on to Vitality PSG. This was kind of a spicy matchup because of all of the Scrub Killa versus PSG rivalry that was going on in the offseason and the end of last season.
It's a nice little grudge match.
Definitely was. Something interesting I thought about this series, it really seemed to me like PSG was getting a lot of opportunities, but they couldn't connect on any of them. I felt in the earlier games PSG had almost all of the pressure, but no goals.
Yeah, PSG had 3 goals total, in contrast to Vitality's 10 goals.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy differential. PSG would have like all of the pressure, but then not sink the goal, and then Vitality would just come by, pick up the ball, and just score in the next opportunity with pretty much no effort. That's really got to be frustrating, but I don't understand how that works out for Vitality. I guess PSG just kept overcommitting on offense. Wouldn't have enough people in the back end, maybe.
We're ragging on PSG a lot, but I think it was a good thing. They showed off their stamina because they lost the first 2 games, yet they took game 3. It was nice to see that after losing, they can still strut their stuff and take a game.
Definitely. I don't think PSG was definitely outclassed, but I think that they're maybe a little bit too slow to take on Vitality. Maybe if they bring up their speed a little bit, they could really, really hammer this home. With this win against Vitality, but right now they lost against them in league play. What's your expectations for PSG for LAN contention?
I think they're probably going to end up being 4 or 5, possibly even 6. Because Vitality, Dignitas, Barcelona, and if Bricks can get their act together, I think those are the 4 that are most likely to go to LAN. But PSG could easily take Brick's spot.
Yeah, I think PSG is one of those teams who can place literally anywhere except for the number 1 spot, and everybody would be like, yeah, that makes sense, you know? Like, I can see them being number 2 to number 8. It just really depends on how they perform on the days.
It was a surprise last season when they made their run to LAN.
Yeah, they beat Vitality 4-2 in the regionals.
But I think if PSG can try to morph their gameplay to be a little bit more like Vitality in their team play, I think they'll do a lot better.
I agree. All right, let's move on to the next match, which was Mouse versus Triple Trouble. So this one, it didn't turn out the way I expected it to. I expected Triple Trouble to really come out swinging in this first week. And a 1-3 against Mousesports is not the way I imagined them doing. Do you have any disagreement with that?
No, I totally agree. I think Triple Trouble capitalized on the chances that they got. They just couldn't create enough opportunity.
Yeah, that sounds about right. This Mousesports pickup of a lot is kind of controversial, but he actually had the best score per game in this series. I think he really looked strong in this one, particularly in comparison to Alex161, who kind of seemed very quiet to me. I can't really think of a standout moment for Alex in any of that match, but I can think of a couple shots where a lot was just going crazy.
Mouse did a great job with their tight defense, and their shooting percentage was stunning. It was around 46%, which is crazy for a match.
Yeah, that's really good shooting percentage.
And a lot was active in 8 of their 12 goals.
92% participation. That's pretty decent numbers.
Is a lot coming back. His season 6 was horrible.
Yeah.
Like, he's a great player. He just didn't show up last season.
Yeah, I mean, whenever Lot's playing well, it's always an exciting match. You just can't wait for him you can't wait to see him hit the next just ridiculous angle.
Yeah, those are my favorite shots to watch.
Yeah, the one from, what was it, season 4, season 5, where he was on the ceiling, hit it from that's like a 1-degree angle. Like, how do you hit that? But that was season 5. We're talking about season 7. And in season 7, we have Barcelona versus Dignitas.
This was the match to watch.
Definitely was. This was a very fun, very hype match to watch.
So within the past week, FC Barcelona picked up the roster previously known as Savage, and I'd say it was a pretty lackluster series from both of the teams, and Violent Panda was very quiet on Dignitas in that series.
I mean, I don't think anybody on Dignitas really looked particularly spectacular. I know Turbo Pulsa, I saw in the chat a couple of times, after Turbo missed a shot in like game 2 or 3, they were talking about Nervo Pulsa, like he's nervous on the field or something. Yukio was hitting shots, but he just didn't have enough opportunities, I guess. Violent Panda actually has 0 goals per game. I just now noticed that. He didn't score any in this series. Congrats to FC Barcelona for taking out one of the most dominant teams in RLCS history in week 1. You always gotta ask if maybe they needed to keep K-Dop if they wanted to be that dominant. But I think Yukio fits in decently with this roster, and I think maybe this result won't be the same throughout the rest of the season. And maybe that's giving too much clout to Dignitas and not enough to Barcelona, because they did play well.
I think it's about time that the giant is taken from its throne, and Barcelona did a great job of doing that. It was good to see them take the win, because the last time they played, I believe it was a best of 7 in DreamHack, was it?
Yes.
And they would have won if it was a best of 5, but they lost in the overall best of 7.
I mean, that Dignitas Savage match at DreamHack was easily match of the event for me. It was very exciting, all the way to game 7 overtime. Very, very cool stuff. But this time it was a little bit more one-sided in the favor of previously Savage and now Barcelona. That's going to bring us to the end of our European League Play segment.
thank you guys so much for watching. Go check out Special One's channel. I have it featured on my channel. And thank you so much for watching. See you on the flip side.